An air conditioner that's too big for the room will actually cool it worse than the right size one. That sounds backwards, so stick with me because it's the single most expensive mistake people make buying one of these. The instinct is always to grab the biggest unit you can afford so it can bully a hot day into submission, but oversize it and you end up with a room that's chilly and never quite dry, a unit that clicks on and off every few minutes, and a power bill that didn't drop at all. The right size for your room is not the biggest one, it's the one that matches the room, and for most rooms that's around 20 BTU for every square foot of floor. Let me explain why. Because once this clicks, the whole decision gets easy. Your air conditioner is doing two jobs, not one. It drops the temperature and it pulls the moisture out of the air. It can only do that second job while it's actually running. An oversized unit cools the room so fast that it hits the temperature you set and shuts off long before it's had time to dry the air out. So the thermostat reads 72, but the room feels like a damp basement. That sticky feeling isn't a broken unit at all, it's just too much air conditioner for the space it's cooling. So let's size it right instead. Start by measuring the room, length times width, to get your square footage. A bedroom that's 15 feet by 20 is 300 square feet. Then you match that number to a cooling capacity, and the Department of Energy publishes the chart just about everybody uses. A small room up to about 150 square feet wants around 5,000 BTU. A 300 square foot bedroom lands you right around 8,000. Get up toward 500 or 600 square feet and you're looking at 12 to 14,000. And if you'd rather not hunt down a chart at all, the shortcut is about 20 BTU per square foot, which gets you close for a normal room. From there, a few simple things nudge that number, and they're all easy. If the room bakes in afternoon sun, add 10%. If it's shaded most of the day, knock 10% off. If more than 2 people are usually in there, add 600 BTU for each extra person, because bodies throw off real heat. And if it's a kitchen, add 4,000 BTU to cover the stove and the oven. Then there's the one almost every guide skips, even though it's the thing people ask about most under these videos, and that's how tall your ceiling is. That whole chart assumes a standard 8-foot ceiling. If you've got 9-foot ceilings, a vaulted room, or an old house with tall ones, the chart is lying to you a little, because you're not cooling a floor, you're cooling all the air stacked on top of it. The honest fix is simple. Take your ceiling height, divide it by 8, and multiply your BTU number by that. A 10-foot ceiling holds about 25% more air, so it wants about 25% more cooling. But don't lose sleep over a 9-foot ceiling, that bump is tiny. It's the genuinely tall, vaulted rooms where it counts. And even there, a cheap ceiling fan pushing that cold air back down does about as much good as jumping up a whole size. So let's come back to that big mistake, because now you can see exactly why it backfires. Picture somebody with that same 300 square foot bedroom. The right unit is about 8,000 BTU, but 8 sounds kind of small, and there's a 24,000 BTU unit on sale, so they grab that one to feel safe. Now they've got 3 times the cooling the room actually needs. It blasts the room cold in a couple of minutes, shuts off, and never runs long enough to touch the humidity. A little while later, the room is warm again, so it kicks right back on. So the room just sits there cool but sticky, the unit cycling on and off around the clock. That constant stopping and starting is the hardest thing on the machine, so it wears out faster and it doesn't save you a single dollar on power. And when a room stays damp like that all summer, up above 60% humidity, that's when you start smelling musty air and finding mold. Too big genuinely leaves you worse off. And no, cranking the thermostat way down colder does not make it cool any faster. The unit only runs at one speed. All a lower number does is make it run longer. Where you live changes how much this bites you too. In a dry climate, like the desert Southwest, humidity isn't really fighting you, so a little extra size is more forgivable. But in a humid place, the Gulf Coast, Florida, the Southeast, sizing too big is close to the worst thing you can do, because a damp house is the whole problem there in the first place. Now there's one real exception, and it matters a lot in 2026, because these units are everywhere now. The newer inverter models, which is most mini splits and the U-shaped window units, can actually slow their compressor down instead of just slamming fully on or fully off. So a slightly oversized inverter unit will ease back and run low and long instead of short cycling. If you're buying one of those, a small step up in size won't hurt you, and in a really humid climate, it can even help, since running low and slow is exactly what squeezes the water out of the air. The engineers who write the sizing manuals treat oversizing a plain old single-speed unit as a flat-out design mistake. So on those older style units, size it right and don't round up. There's one more trap, and this one is sneaky because it's printed right on the box. If you're buying a portable air conditioner, the big BTU number on the front is almost always inflated. That's an old lab rating, measured in perfect conditions with no exhaust hose hooked up. The number that actually matters is the newer Department of Energy rating, and it runs a solid 25 to 45% lower. So a portable screaming 14,000 BTU on the box might really cool more like 10, and only be rated for a room half the size you'd assume. When you shop portables, compare that smaller, honest number, not the giant one on the front. Now, if you're not sizing one room but cooling a whole house, the game shifts a little. Whole house systems get measured in tons, and 1 ton is 12,000 BTU. You'll hear a rule of thumb of 1 ton for every 400 to 600 square feet, and that rule almost always sizes a modern house too big. On a well-insulated home, the real number is often a good bit smaller, so don't let a contractor just multiply your square footage and call it done. The right move is a proper load calculation, the one the pros call a manual J, where they actually account for your insulation, your windows, and your climate. Same principle as the room, just with a lot more money on the line. And look, too small is a real problem too. It just shows up in the obvious way. The unit runs non-stop on a hot day and still never quite catches up. One quick reality check on that though. It is completely normal for a correctly sized unit to run flat out on the single hottest day of the year. That's expected on a design day, not a sign you went too small. What's not normal is it giving up when it's only 80 degrees outside. And one last thing worth knowing, one unit cools one room. Cold air pours out through an open door like water, so a single window unit is never going to cool your whole apartment. Size it for the room it's actually in, and keep that door shut. So when you're standing there about to buy, just take the 2 minutes and run the numbers. Measure the room, find your BTU on the chart, nudge it for the sun, the people, and the ceiling, and then buy exactly that size, never the one above it. The size you pick today is the one you're stuck with for the next 10 or 15 years, through every sticky August, so getting it right now is really the whole game. The sizing chart and a solid inverter window unit are both linked down below if you want them. Get the size right, and the thing just keeps the room comfortable in the background, which is all you ever really wanted from an air conditioner in the first place.